Peaches carries her secret like a weight that has pressed against her ribcage for decades. And as her health begins to slip, she understands with painful clarity that time is running out. All the years she spent trying to convince herself that the truth didn't matter suddenly collapse into one blunt reality. If she doesn't speak now, the truth will die with her. And that is something she cannot allow, not when the secret involves a life she brought into this world. A life she lost, mourned, and never stopped loving. She asks for a quiet moment. A private space where emotions won't be drowned out by noise or distracted by the chaos beyond the gates usually unleashes. Her voice is weaker than it once was, but its determination hasn't faded. When she calls the young woman into the room, the very woman who has spent months wondering why Peaches always seemed to hover protectively around her, there is a heaviness in the air that neither of them can ignore. Peaches looks at her with eyes filled with something that is not quite sorrow and not quite relief, but a mixture of both. She starts speaking slowly, almost as if she is afraid her heart won't survive the confession. She explains that years ago, when she was much younger, she gave birth to a daughter under circumstances she had no control over. She had been forced to hide the pregnancy, pressured by family, by society, by people who believed they knew better than she did. After the birth, the baby was taken from her, told she was being placed in a better life, told Peaches should move on, rebuild, forget. But Peaches never forgot. Not for a single day. Her hands shake as she tells the young woman that she searched for years, encountering dead ends, lies, and complicated legal roadblocks. Eventually, she was told the child had died. But in her heart, Peaches could never fully believe it. Something always told her the child was still alive. She kept looking, kept asking, kept following even the smallest whisper of hope. And then she met her, without realizing at first who she really was. Piece by piece, signs began adding up. A familiar gesture, a birthmark she recognized from an impossible memory, fragments in the young woman's background that matched pieces Peaches had been given years ago. When the truth finally struck her, it was like the world snapped into place. With tears building in her eyes and her voice barely holding steady, Peaches finally says the words she has swallowed for a lifetime. "You're my daughter. My long-lost daughter. And I should have told you sooner." The young woman freezes, stunned, confused, unable to process how her entire identity has been rewritten in a single breath. Everything she thought she knew about her life suddenly feels fragile. But the raw honesty on Peaches' face, the trembling hope mixed with fear, makes it impossible to doubt the sincerity. Peaches continues, admitting her greatest fear, that she would die with this secret buried inside her, and her daughter would never know she had been loved from the very first moment. She apologizes for every year stolen from them, for the silence that grew between their lives, for believing the lie that hiding the truth would spare them both pain. Her confession leaves the room thick with emotion, a mixture of heartbreak and possibility. The revelation does not instantly mend the years they lost, but it opens a door, one they never knew was there, to a future built not on secrecy, but on the truth. Peaches has finally found the courage to speak.